Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be going over tragic true Reddit threads. If you guys want to submit your own stories or confessions, please send them to me at dumbarcusyoutube@gmail.com. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I think I picked some good ones for you guys. Let's get into it. My husband posted my body online. Last Friday, I, 34 female, spent my evening with, obligatory fake name, Kate, a young friend, 24 female, from work as she wanted to discuss something personal with me. I didn't think anything of it, as we do have a very personal relationship outside of work as well. As soon as I arrived to her place, the tension in the air was thick. She explained that she wanted to discuss a serious matter with me, but she didn't know how to go about it. I told her to just rip the band-aid off and tell me. She told me she had found 2 recordings of a woman she believed to be me on an adult website. I told her that wouldn't be possible, but she was adamant that I was the woman in the recording. And she was right. I've never recorded myself naked or having intimacy with my husband, but there I was, in 2 recordings of 7 minutes and 4 minutes, both of them recorded in our old bedroom. As I rewatched every second of it, it starts to dawn on me that this was my husband's doing, but I push that deep down because there must be a reasonable explanation for this. Honestly, I left her place with my mind in a complete meltdown. I could barely hear what she was saying, but she did follow up with a text saying she's been in contact with the website about getting it taken down and that she'll help me go through this. She also said she's scouring the internet in case there are more out there. I came home and pretty much ransacked my house looking for evidence, and I found it. My husband was using a hidden spy cameras to spy on me and record me in my most intimate moments. I then just spent hours vomiting, crying, projectile vomiting, and some more, and begging God to just let this be a nightmare. I am a deeply religious and fully veiled Muslim woman, and I've never been with anyone but my husband, and all this time, he has been sharing my most intimate moments with the world. I don't know what to think or what to do. I can't look at him or speak to him. I've locked myself in our bedroom pretending I have COVID. All I do is look up how other people have dealt with things getting removed, and it seems like once it's on the internet, it really is forever, even if I remove it from this one website. I've been crying nonstop. He truly must be something demonic, as he is right now talking about ordering in some of my favorites to see if I have an appetite, since I haven't been eating well. I am so unbelievably hurt. I don't know how to share this with my family or how to ask for help. I am crippled with shame, anger, and pain. Answering some questions. 1. My husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, and I are the same religion, race, ethnicity, and nationality. 2. My culture does not participate in honor killings, and I'm not afraid of my family harming me or not siding with me. 3. My family would support me in divorcing him. In fact, they would demand I do. 4. The laws in my country are secular, but in certain circumstances, it allows for various religious groups in the country to hold their own courts that can enforce their rulings, as long as it doesn't impose or break secular law or civil liberties. 5. I do plan on taking this to secular court and religious court as I want him punished. 6. I am veiled by choice, and the vast majority of my fellow countrywomen do not veil. 7. I am a niqabi, meaning the only part of me visible to the public are my eyes. When I am with my family or other women/in women-only spaces, I don't veil. 8. Kate and I do not share the same religion, nor dress alike, and yet we are friends. Quell surprise. Already a disgusting first story. I'm assuming that the husband's doing this because he gets off on it, of course at the expense of his own wife. Just a terrible, disgusting human. Anyway, let's get into some of the comments and updates. This commenter says, as a fellow hijabi Muslim woman, sweetheart, my heart bleeds for you. We trust our men with our honor. To do this is disgusting. The violation is scary, I know, but you're strong. Divorce him. Never let him near you again. Tell your parents, but you don't need to tell anybody else. I know you're scared that people are gonna see, but they're not. Nobody's going to know. Relax. The video will get taken down, and you'll be okay. Allah knows. He knows your heart. He knows your husband's. Allah will protect your honor. He will never let it happen. I'm rooting for you. And the OP responds to this saying, we are without a doubt getting a divorce. I have started to make plans. I have scheduled for movers to help me put my stuff into storage on Thursday morning while he's at work. Then I'm off to see my parents and siblings. I've asked them to all be there. I kind of want to get it all out in one go. I wish I could say the recordings haven't spread, but it has. I'm not worried about Allah, God, as I know I've done nothing wrong, and there's nothing I could ever do to deserve this kind of treatment. Thank you for your kind words. I can only trust that if he cannot be punished in this lifetime, that he will be punished in the next. Inshallah. Another person says, I can't imagine how you are feeling. I'm so sorry. Not only for you to have been recorded and had your body shared online, but to also lose all trust in your husband and to know that he is capable of something like this. I hope you are able to leave him at a minimum and that you could speak with the professional that can help you deal with such a traumatic event. One last commenter says, as a hijabi Muslim woman, I am so sorry. This is heartbreaking. It's so evil. All of our lives we protect ourselves and our bodies just for it to be taken from you and shared with the internet. I can't imagine how terrible that is. God, my heart with you. He should be exposed, not just divorced. You know he'll find a wife before you even finish divorcing him, unfortunately. How long ago have you been married? Is this something your husband would do? Usually Muslim men are very protective. Obviously you're in shock, but is he a bad person overall? And the OP replies to this saying, unfortunately for him, I do have a vindictive nature that I normally temper, but I have no intention of not going scorched earth, as I do plan on ruining his life in any way I can. We have been together for almost 5 years and married for over 2 years. I would have never expected him to do such a thing. Wouldn't have married if I even had an inkling he would behave this way. I honestly thought he was a good person and that we had a good marriage. Until last week, I would have staked my life on it. And we get an update from the OP a couple weeks later, and this is what they have to say. I left him as I said I would. He went to work. The movers arrived, we packed my stuff, and we left. The entire time I was crying to the point that even the movers were worried for me, but I couldn't stop myself from crying. I went home, sat my parents and siblings down, and explained the situation. My parents were, and still are, confused. They are elderly and fragile. They don't understand the internet. They just keep saying, okay, let's talk to the people, and it will be gone. But my siblings understand. They are angry. They are sad and heartbroken on my behalf. My siblings and brother-in-laws took me home. We waited for him, and well, we had a conversation with him. He denied it at first, so my brothers were firm with him, and he started to be more truthful. He said he did it because he was depressed, because he had an adult video addiction, intimacy addiction, and because he didn't think anyone would see it. He said he posted only a few. When we asked him to be specific, he said he posted anything from 5 to 8. We had him take it down, but who knows how many times it has been downloaded or shared. In that moment, I also found out he had a secret phone. He was also cheating on me with random women and intimacy workers. All this time I was thinking he's working hard, but no, he was out disgracing himself and betraying our marriage. At some point, he convinced us he needed to use the bathroom and somehow managed to call his mother, who arrived at our home with his brothers and cousins. There was a commotion as they were angry at the treatment of their family member. Then things calmed down enough to explain to them what he had done. His mother fainted. His mother is elderly and not in the greatest health condition. We called for an ambulance. My neighbor had also called the police, and I was arrested by the time the ambulance arrived to take care of my mother-in-law. I spent the evening locked up. Didn't exactly have polite conversation with him. So yes, I was arrested for assaulting him, specifically slapping him, and he refused to press charges. Got released the next morning and went home to my parents. Cried some more because my parents kept crying. Then a few days later, I spoke to some lawyers my sister had contacted as they had experience with non-consensual material being posted online. They have been handling things with the police, as I did press charges, and they are dealing with the websites. I also have started the process of divorce. I went to the clinic and got tested, and luckily he didn't give me anything so far, but I have another test scheduled just to make sure. I have spoken to his mother, and she apologized to me even though it's not her fault. She told me that she understood why I want him punished. She asked that I let it stay in the hands of the law, rather than I hurt him or have him hurt. He's in hiding, but he still calls and texts me from random numbers. He still lies and tries to manipulate me. I've been documenting everything he says and texts to me. Oh, at this point, everyone knows. I mean everyone, even little kids. And I feel more humiliated now than I did at first. The OP posts another update about 3 months later from the previous one, and this is what they have to say. This man has destroyed everything I have worked for and has completely destroyed the very little sense of stability and safety I had left. I had to resign from my job, a job that I loved. Jobs don't come easy for me with the way that I look. I can't work there anymore because I'm a potential danger to the children and staff, since perverted men have started to harass me at work. I work with vulnerable children and mothers who have heard about me, and they have started to refuse me working with their children. Some don't want me to be involved with their child because their husbands can't stop being weird. Fathers have leered at me or made lewd comments towards me, and one of them even offered me money to sleep with him. Men have catcalled me with greater frequency than ever before. Men stare at me. A man followed me from my dentist office and groped me on the street. Random men call my phone, my family home, and office to verbally abuse me because my husband has posted my address, my personal and work email, phone numbers, workplace address, and every other bit of information online. It is as if the eyes and judgment of the entire world is on me. Yes, the great majority of people are sympathetic, kind, and in support of me. Many people have reached out in support of me, from old classmates to former colleagues, neighbors, members of my religious community, family, friends, his family, and many, many more have expressed solidarity and kindness, but the crazies and perverts who believe him and are like him are bolder, louder, and much more noticeable. Then I find out from my lawyers and their investigators that he was drugging me and assaulting me as I slept. I suffer from migraines and insomnia and take medication for it. He saw my medication as opportunity to drug me with my own prescriptions. He shared, was actually bragging, on a forum where other perverts congregate how he was so clever for drugging me with my own medication, and they were encouraging him to do more things to me. Soon-to-be ex-husband has also decided to spread rumors that I was aware of the cameras and pressured him into posting online, and there are people who believe him. He also changed his mind about not pressing charges. I went to court. The judge and prosecutors were sympathetic and dismissed the case. It was a combination of my lawyers explaining the circumstances that led to me slapping him and his subsequent actions, threatening me, attacking me, doxing me, and blackmailing me by saying he didn't care about the slap and that he would drop everything if I forgave him. My lawyers used his own words against him, since he wrote it in text and on a recorded call he admitted to me not having slapped him that hard and that he only pressed charges to cause me harm. But his crimes against me are still being investigated by the prosecutors. And wow, I can't believe that even after he got caught, he's still doubling down and doing all this stuff to OP. I feel so bad for her. Like I forgot to mention this in the last one, but she literally had to spend a night in jail because of him over something that was completely justified. And the OP's getting harassed and groped in public, all because the ex-husband doxed her online. Also while he's flexing that he's doing all these things to her. Is just so disgusting. I can't believe there's real people like that. We do get another update about 4 months later, and this is what the OP has to say. I wish I could say I was feeling or doing better, but I feel awful, and I am still struggling with everything. It is still his life's mission to be as cruel as he can be and to stand in the way of every step I make. He is still refusing to work with my divorce lawyer. He continues to be difficult every step of the way and has run off his own lawyers. He is now on his third lawyer, and we are again starting from scratch in the divorce negotiations. He has been granted an extension by the courts due to his last lawyer just dropping him a few days before our hearing. As for posting non-consensual material, a trail date was scheduled, and he recently asked for an extension, and he'll probably be granted it, as his criminal lawyer dropped him too. So in the last month, he has been dropped by his divorce lawyer and his criminal lawyer. The man is on a roll. When it rains, it sure pours. My father passed a little over a month ago, and my mother is now in hospice care as she is soon to go back to God. I'm sad, but not shocked about this, as I've had a long time to prepare for it. My father had been battling cancer for almost 3 years, and so was as prepared as a person can be, and my mother's health has been declining significantly for years due to her dementia. Soon-to-be ex-husband decided it was a great idea to corner me at the venue we held the after-funeral meal at. He decided to wait for me to be alone. He approached me as I was cleaning up the venue. I was on my own at that time, and I was kind of exhausted, and could not muster up the rage to chase him off as I have done many times before. So I just let him talk. He seemed almost decent, as he was giving his million excuses on why things were the way they were. He cried about how awful he feels for hurting me. Then he started telling me about how he always felt I was better than him in everything, as I made more money, was better educated, had been better traveled than him, and that he felt jealous of my confidence, and how in the beginning these were things that he was most attracted to, but as our relationship and marriage progressed, these were the things that he started to dislike about me. He also said that he was angry that I refused to consider being a stay-at-home wife and mother, even though he knew from the beginning that I wasn't the stay-at-home/homemaker type. He said that he tried to be a good husband, but that my refusal to bend or let him have the last say in things was the catalyst for his anger, and he needed to humiliate me. He talked about how he always had addiction issues, but he thought that if he was married, he would be cured of his depression, his adult video and intimacy addiction, and he felt like if I ever found out, I would have never married him and/or would divorce him, and that angered him and pushed him to want to punish me for thinking I was better than him. He was jealous and angry about so many things. But when I said to him, "So you hurt me because you felt jealous and inadequate in comparison," he lost his mind and started to shout and say that he knew I would react that way. I decided to refrain from commenting further and just let him spill his guts uninterrupted. For 3 hours, he made excuse after excuse for why he did what he did. But it all comes down to him feeling inferior to me, him being jealous and angry that I dared have a mind and life of my own. He said right before our wedding, he joined a men's group online that were helping him deal with his adult video and intimacy addiction. And one tip given was to make your own adult videos and watch that instead. But he knew I'd never agree to it, so it was my fault he needed to spy on me, and that he never intended to share it with others. But one day I angered him so much, and as payback he posted it, and he felt good. And so every time I emasculated him by having my own mind or upset him in some way or another, he would post more. Eventually he gained a following, and had so many men asking him to post more, he started to like the fact that other men looked up to him for his intimacy prowess, and at the same time his intimacy addiction started to come back, and he fell back into his habit of picking up women, and when he couldn't get it for free, he'd hire an intimacy worker. Then I guess it spiraled out of control for him. The more he spent on his addictions, the more lies he told, the more he felt like a failure for me covering our expenses, the more he resented me, and he got stuck in a cycle of self-destruction, which in turn only fueled his anger with me. He also says he joined a support group for addicts and started going to an addiction rehabilitation clinic as an outpatient to deal with his issues, and that I should give him credit for that. He feels that I should be proud of him for doing that, and that I should take him back since he's putting in so much work. He also feels I should appreciate him not stalking me since my dad passed, and he is sincere in his feelings in this way. He genuinely doesn't understand why I'm not seeing how hard he's been trying for the past few months. In his deluded mind, he thinks that his honesty in our conversation should count for something, and that I am just being a heartless B-word for having been stoic and unmoved by his tears and his show of vulnerability. Even though he gave a great performance of being human during our conversation, I remained unmoved by it because there was nothing to be moved about. I just continued to pack things up from the venue and got in my car and went home. I'm still not working. I still have crazy men calling my phone at all hours of the day, and I still feel humiliated and embarrassed. The only good thing that has happened is that several of the sites have taken down the recordings and banned him from using their platforms. And we get our final update about 4 months later, and this is what the OP says. Finally, I have some good news. So a while back I was granted a restraining/protective order, and now my officially ex-husband did continue to stalk and harass me. After the umpteenth time of calling the police and going to court, he was finally imprisoned, and he has been in prison for a little over a month. I was also granted my divorce. I initially wanted a quick divorce and wanted to just give him everything he asked for, but he kept finding ways to delay or asking for more and more, and I just snapped. So I told my lawyers to do their worst, and they did. My lawyers hated him, and I got everything I wanted and way more. Not to gloat, but it was really satisfying seeing him cry. This has been the most peaceful month I've had in a long time. This entire time has been such a trying time, and it has affected my mental and physical health. I've lost 12 kilograms, and I've lost a ton of hair due to the stress he was causing me. But I can honestly say that him wailing in court was the chicken soup my soul needed. I've moved from my city, and now live on the other side of the country, and I've gotten myself a decent enough job. I am slowly mending my confidence. I am in therapy, and I can't say it's working right now, but I know if I stick with it, it will. The non-consensual material he posted has been removed from the more reputable sites he posted on, and my lawyers were able to get me monetarily compensated as these companies didn't want to go to court over it. I mean, money doesn't really change things that much, and I am still hurt, but it is something. I'm also not so delusional as to think it still isn't out there in some way or another, and I know there isn't really much I could ever do about that, so I'm just trying to make peace with it. Ex-husband will be serving time in prison for what he did, and my lawyers are working with the courts, and that should be sorted soon enough. I think the reality of the consequences are becoming very clear to him, as I have heard through the grapevine that he attempted to off himself and is now in protective custody until his trial date. He is facing up to 30 years and corporal punishment, and I absolutely look forward to it. And I'd like to say that I'm so glad, and a little surprised even, that the situation ended up having such a good ending, considering the circumstances. And I'd also like to say that the OP is just such a strong woman for being able to endure everything, especially with all the life events thrown at her on top of everything her husband was doing. I just hope the OP's ex-husband gets what he deserves in there, and more. And I hope her life can return to somewhat normal. My F26 husband, M29, is obsessed with my boss, F38, and it's all my fault. I started this job about 1.5 years ago. I can't say what it is because I want us to stay anonymous and our country is very small, so my boss would probably be recognized. The moment I started, I felt like I was in the right place. My boss, the owner of the company, is very cool and kind. She's self-made, and she loves her job. She does a lot of the dirty work herself that bosses who have 30 to 35 employees wouldn't have to do. But she just loves it. On top of that, we have a 6-hour workday, our salaries are 20% higher than the market, and we have 7 paid vacation weeks a year. Her reasons? She appreciates us, and she's getting richer anyway. I was so proud of working with a woman like her, so I wouldn't shut up talking about her to my husband, especially in the beginning. My husband was as fascinated by her as I am until he met her in a company party last Christmas. She must have been beautiful when she was young. She could have been a model. I think his fascination became a crush, or an obsession, or maybe worse, love. Now he follows her on social media. Her accounts are private, but he stalks her with my account. He also follows the company Instagram and likes every picture she's in. He asks about her all the time. She's a very private person, but when her divorce from her ex-husband was finalized in the beginning of this year, we all found out because he started showing up to work. He owned one half of her company now, and he started to try to make changes in our work hours and salaries. We found out that her husband had cheated on her with a younger girl, who he also tried to employ in our company. She still works with us. She, probably lawyers involved, eventually convinced her husband to sell her back his share. We're still in this process now. My husband has followed all of this, and he was so sad for her, and so angry. How could anyone do this when they had a woman like her? If it was him, he would cherish her, love her, blah blah blah. Who leaves a woman for a girl? I got very angry and told him that all men prefer younger women if they could choose. He laughed at me and told me only losers do that. The last drop was last Friday. We were out for a movie night, and we saw my boss with a young man. He looked in his mid-20s. My husband lost it. He didn't know that she dated younger men. He wanted us to go say hello, but I refused and yelled at him to control himself because he looked pathetic. When we got home, he was frantically going through her social media until he found the guy, and he sighed in relief. The guy was her nephew, and we didn't see the whole company, but they were out with other family members. My husband was so happy, like a weight lifted off his chest. I lost it on him. I started crying and yelling and told him he was in love with her, and he was shocked when I pushed and kicked him out of our bedroom. I locked the door. He stood outside trying to calm me down, telling me he loved me and I'm his girl and always will be. Then he said something that ruined me even further. It's not like someone like her would look my way. I haven't slept since then. Why is he feeling like this? Is it love? Infatuation? She's too old for my husband, so what is it? And why would he think he couldn't have her? He's very handsome and still young. She should feel lucky a young handsome man likes her. And does he mean I'm less than her to accept him? Or is it purely her money and status? He refuses to admit anything. And what can I do now? I love this job. I love the benefits. Thanks to this job, our life has improved, and we could afford more than just the necessities. I'm starting to hate my boss, though, and I hate myself for idolizing her in front of my husband. And the OP makes a quick edit to the post saying, "Sorry this is getting longer, but I have spoken to my mother, sister, granny, and some friends about this, and about what happened last Friday, and they all think I'm making a big deal out of nothing." Right off the bat, it is kind of weird that she does think it's her fault when, it's obviously her husband's, but I don't know. Anyway, let's get into some of the comments. One person says, "You know your husband is at fault here. Not you, and not your boss. He's acting very inappropriately, and the things he said would make me feel very insecure as well. Put the blame where it lies, at his feet, for saying and doing the things he has to make you feel this way. I would say either attend therapy together, or even separately, or consider a break. You need time to evaluate the situation properly. And your family isn't being very supportive by dismissing your very valid feelings. I wouldn't be asking them for advice going forward. I get they are cheaper than a therapist, but they are clearly being biased. This is not your fault. Your husband is on the hook for this one." And they quote the OP saying, "It's not like someone like her would look my way," which is a quote from the husband. It sounds like he's saying that if your boss gave him a chance and looked his way, he'd probably jump at it. I understand why this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. You don't trust this as a reassurance of anything other than your right to feel betrayed. Another comment says, "My only takeaway is it makes me really sad that you think 38 is old, and she would have been beautiful when she was young." And a lot of the people in the comments reciprocate with this, blaming the OP, not blaming the OP, but saying she's kind of in the wrong for some of the comments she was jabbing at her boss, even though she hasn't done anything yet. One last commenter says, "Don't hate your boss. She's done nothing to warrant that. Your husband has habitually crossed the line, and now you see his behavior for what it is. Whatever obsession he has for her trumps anything he possibly feels or felt for you. Get a divorce and keep the job. There's only room for two people in a marriage, and he's pushing you out in favor of a fantasy. And the OP responds to this saying, I don't hate her. I'm probably just bitter, trying to make it about people other than my husband, because then I have to face the fact that my marriage is over. We get an update from the OP about 2 months later, and already off the bat it's crazy. The title of the update is, I just found out that my husband, separated, is dating my boss. I don't know what to do. And this is the update. Hi, I'm in so much pain, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to do something stupid while hurting. I got a lot of good advice last time I was here, so I don't know. Maybe you can help me this time too? My old post is linked in my bio. I hope you read it before this one, because I don't want to tell the whole story again. I went against my family and friends and asked my husband for separation. I felt like my heart couldn't take it anymore. My intuition told me that my husband wasn't all mine. This was shortly after the event at the movies. My husband was in total confusion. He said that I was making a mistake, making a mountain out of a molehill, but he moved in with his brother, however, and we decided to start couples counseling too. It went well for the first 3 weeks or so, but my husband became more and more reluctant to participate, and sometimes he just canceled on me last second. He stopped showing up this month, and he also stopped calling and texting me. I was even more heartbroken, but it just solidified that my intuition was right, and that I was doing the right thing seeing that he is not interested in working on us anymore. I chose not to quit my job. I still loved it with all the heartbreak, and I really needed the benefits. Like I'm the only one I know who is having a 3 weeks paid vacation around Christmas and New Year. I never see my boss anyway, and she doesn't even know of my existence. My husband eventually stopped being active on Instagram, and I thought it was normal because we were going through adversities, until yesterday when his brother shared my husband's stories of the night. My husband was in a restaurant holding a woman's hand. I could only see her hand. So my husband has just blocked me, and my family and friends are seeing his updates. I commented, WTF. And this morning my husband called me, for the first time in a month, totally scared, and started begging, please don't ruin this for me, please don't ruin this for me. I told him, what do you mean? He said, don't tell her about us. I never made the connection at first. It never ever crossed my mind even. That woman in the picture was my boss. I started crying and screaming at him. How could you do this to me? How could you tell me that it was all in my head when it's obviously all over your Instagram? He said it just happened. I dumped him and he was single and just happened to find her on Bumble. He begged me not to ruin this for him. She knows he's in the process of divorce, but she doesn't know that he already knew who she was, or that she was the boss of his soon-to-be ex. They have been seeing each other for 6 weeks, about 2 weeks after I asked him to move, and it is getting serious. He begged for a good 5 minutes, telling me he hasn't been this happy in all of his life, and that I shouldn't ruin his happiness since, again, I was the one who ended our marriage. I have been crying since this morning. I don't know what to do. I want to ruin him and his happiness, but I don't know if I have any right to do that, and I'm so worried about losing my job. Please help. And then the OP makes a quick edit saying, edit for new information. Okay, my husband has been calling me nonstop, and I have now answered him. He is panicking about me telling her everything, so he begged me to give him the chance to tell her himself. His words were, I never stalked her or creeped on her. I just fell for her, and was scared that she would think I was creepy since you thought the same. Give me a chance to tell her the truth in my own pace, so at least she doesn't think I'm a liar or a freak like you seem to think. He still swears they matched on Bumble. I don't know what that is until now, but it is like Tinder? I'm just devastated right now. He has no regards for me or my feelings. Everything he is thinking of is not to scare her away. When I told him this, he said that I was the one who left him. People fall out of love, and that's okay, and it's no one's fault, and that I was in the right for ending the relationship, but I was the one who ended it all the same. Don't hurt us, and I promise to give you everything you want. She is happy with me, so don't hurt us. So now let's see what some people have to say about this. One person says, "Wait, so they met in the company Christmas party? Does she know he is your husband? Girl, you need to talk to her. Look, don't worry about losing your job, because if they become serious, do you think your boss will still treat you fairly? There is a high chance he will give a different story. Update us once you talk to her. Do this for yourself and be strong." And the OP replies and says, "She probably didn't recognize him because he told me that she thinks they met on Bumble." And someone else replies to the OP saying, "As everyone else has said, you need to tell her. You also need to tell her what happened in your relationship before and how he was constantly stalking her social media and the comments he made to your face, as his wife, before dating her, about her. You can't double guess yourself. You have a voice. I see in the comments that you're really debating it because he thinks you did it because you're bitter. Of course you're bitter. You were in a marriage with someone you loved. And vindictive. Who cares? He's an effing a-hole. And you're also worried about her and what she might think. Please, you have a voice. Do not stay silent. None of this is your fault. It's all on your ex-husband. I hate seeing how women lose themselves because of what might happen. Look at what your husband did to you. Really, take a step back and look at what he did. He doesn't deserve anything good. If I were you, I'd have told her a long time ago. And who cares what she thinks? Personally, I would find it disgusting that a married man was actively looking for me on social media and being angry for seeing me with someone else while he's married. What she decides to do is on her. But listen to me if you read this comment. Do not hide." And we get an update 3 days later, and this is what the OP says. "I talked to my boss yesterday, Monday, after lunch. I told her everything. Basically how I was so happy I found this job, how I looked up to her, and was proud to be working for someone like her, and that this rubbed off on my husband who grew more obsessed with her each day. I apologized for being obsessed because I didn't know how things were between them, but that is how I perceived his feelings. I told her about the day at the movie and how it basically made me realize that our issues were greater than I thought. I told her that I know and accept that my marriage is over and that my husband didn't love me anymore, and that the reason I'm telling her now isn't to judge or blame her, but to let her know the whole story because it's just fair that she knows that he has been following her life for over a year now. Because from what I understood from my husband, you are under the impression that you just matched with him on a dating app," I said. She was silent the whole time I was talking, just listening to me until I mentioned the dating app, and that's when she interrupted me. "That's not how we met. He has been a patron at my gym for the past 6 months, maybe a year, she said. I know her gym. It's the one across our workplace. She works out there every morning before coming to work. I didn't know he had joined it because I knew him to be a member at the gym near our home. He has been, without telling me, working out just across the street from me every morning without telling me. She looked like how I felt. Shocked. I apologized and told her that he has kept dating her a secret from me and that he begged me not to talk to her, telling me that he hasn't been this happy, and so on. She didn't say much, just thanked me for telling her. Today she asked if she could talk to me. She apologized for everything that happened to me and asked if I needed any help. I said no. She thanked me again. When I got home, my husband was there. He had called me at least 50 times, but my phone was on silent. He was crying, calling me bitter and vindictive and pathetic. He said I ruined his relationship and future. She is scared of him now, and it is all my fault. He wants me to tell her that he is not dangerous, nor is he a pervert. He wants me to tell her that I was the one who wanted a divorce, and that people fall out in and of love, and it's nobody's fault, and neither is it creepy. He hasn't done anything wrong. He stayed faithful to me, and would have stayed that way if I didn't kick him out. He asked me if I ever felt unsafe with him, to make rumors about him being a stalker and creep. I should tell the truth. I asked him to leave, and that I'm starting the divorce, and from now on he could only contact me once I got a lawyer through them. I have been crying since he left. We haven't seen each other for weeks, and he had no feelings whatsoever for me. He looked demented and full of sorrow like a broken little boy. How could he change this fast? Before we separated, he held me and begged me to believe him and his love for me. Was it all a lie? My whole entire relationship. Good night, and thank you for the support. This is a throwaway, and I will be deleting it soon. I just thought I would update before doing that. And we get our final update from the OP 6 months later, and it already has an insane title. The update is called, "I'm Drowning in Despair." My divorce was finalized yesterday, and today I found out that my ex-husband and my boss are expecting their first child. I don't know if you remember me. I was here some months ago, and you helped me a great deal to cope with my grief. I talked about how my ex-husband was falling for my boss, and I was watching it happening with no power to do anything about it. I hope you can find all my old posts and include them in my bio in case you don't remember me. I filed for divorce and a restraining order against him, and last time I talked to him was when he came home crying and yelling at me to make me talk to my boss to tell her that he wasn't the creep I made him out to be when I spoke with my boss. I never saw him again after I refused to help him win her back. A month later, his lawyer sent me a letter saying that my ex-husband had moved to another city and that he terminated the lease on the apartment, and I had until the end of February to vacate. I moved back temporarily with my family. I never seen or heard from my ex again, like I never existed in his life. He signed the divorce papers the second he got them and didn't ask for trial, period. I meant nothing to him. At work, everything was back to normal. I rarely saw my boss, but the few times I did, she just nodded in acknowledgement with a smile. She didn't know who I was before. She wasn't coming to work as often as she usually did anyway, and she was homesick more often than she did. She is usually a working bee. I was glad she didn't try to take out her revenge on me for what happened. She just ignored the subject and never spoke to me again. I found out that my ex-husband found a new job and apartment in his new city and that he was seeing a therapist. I heard that he was trying to build his life back up because all of our friends and family knew what kind of a creepy stalker he was now and the reason why we got a divorce, and he couldn't handle the pressure. I heard that he cut contact with many of our mutual friends, those who defended and sided with me. I also found my own place. I put a down payment on a small apartment near my work and my family, and I was finally starting to come out of my shell. Yesterday, the divorce was finalized, and I finally felt some sort of hope, some freedom. This chapter is done. I don't know when and where I will find love. I guess I need to start with learning how to trust again before loving and giving myself to someone. I was optimistic. That was until my friend sent me a screenshot of my ex-husband's Instagram. He had blocked me months ago, but yesterday, the day our divorce was finalized, he made a post with his hand hugging a woman's belly. The caption was, "I can't wait to meet you. I will love you like I love your mother, and I will do so until the end of my time." The woman in the picture is my boss. Today I asked around the office, and the rumors are that she is in a long-distance relationship with her boyfriend. She also announced her pregnancy on her socials, and everyone was congratulating her. Will this pain ever go? What have I ever done to deserve this cruelty? My husband offed someone and can't cope. 5 months ago, a woman purposely walked in front of my husband's truck. He struck her and was unalived. Much like the people who unalive their family before offing themselves, she was so selfish, basically taking him with her. He quit on the spot. His employer should have recognized that he was in distress and given him some time off instead of accepting his resignation, but they didn't. I'm 8 months pregnant, and before someone says, "You shouldn't have kids if you can't afford them," I know. We are in a world of hurt right now, and it's only going to get worse. The accident brought up bad juju from an accident 10 years ago, where he lost his wife and son. He has anxiety that he didn't have before. He goes to therapy, but hasn't driven since the accident. He would rather walk in 100-degree heat than get behind the wheel. He has driven trucks for nearly 13 years. It's all he knows. I know mental health is so important, but we are at a dead end. I won't insult him by acting like I know what he is going through or what he is feeling, but we can't afford for him to grieve any longer. I have been telling him for the last month that we are running out of money. We have less than $100 to our names, and our pantry is bare. Life can't wait for him to get ready. I don't know what ultimatum I could give him that will snap him back to reality, but next week, we are going to be living on the street. We are on a month-to-month lease because we don't have the best credit, so if we don't pay, we are out. I've already pushed our car payment back as much as I could. We've used our get-out-of-jail-free cards, used all generosity from our family and friends, and I've exhausted local resources. I work full-time in a salon and simply don't make enough to support us. I try to find odd side jobs, but I'm limited until after I give birth. I don't want to come off as insensitive, but he needs to go back to work. We had a small savings that we have been using, but that money is gone. My husband insisted he could help out the woman's family with final expenses, which I was against, but he did it anyway. He feels guilty. And I feel like the worst B-word wife in the world saying all this, but I can't do this all alone. And just a brutal beginning to the thread. Let's see what some people have to say about this. This person says, "I'm so sorry. This is just an awful situation all the way around. Don't beat yourself up. You are holding everything together by a thread, like Atlas holding the world. I'm not sure if you're in the US, but the first thing I thought of is Social Security disability. Many mental health conditions qualify, including PTSD. This person says, "Don't be embarrassed. This is not your husband's or your fault. This was done to you, and you're trying to deal with the aftermath. And your husband's response is understandable, considering his trauma from his wife and son's passing from an accident. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this." One last person says, "It's an awful situation all around. I know you're stressed, but giving your husband an ultimatum and constantly telling him you're broke and need food and money is not helping him. He's clearly depressed, and the last thing he needs to hear is that he's failing. It actually pushes people back into themselves more." And just to warn you guys, we get our next update not even 2 weeks later, and the title's just tragic. It reads, "My husband took his life in front of me." And this is what the OP says. "This happened a few days ago, and it's a cruel, twisted irony that I made this Reddit asking how hard I should push him to go back to work. My last post was about how we were going to lose our place because my husband couldn't recover after a woman stepped in front of his semi 7-ish months ago. I said it was like she took him with her. Now he is actually gone, and it's not even the same. Before I get some a-holes asking, 'Why are you posting right now?' I don't know what to do. I notified his family." After my last post, I pushed him to try to get his job back, and they took him back with open arms, which was a huge blessing and surprise. When I called his boss yesterday to tell him my husband wouldn't be coming back, he told me that the company would pay for his funeral. He had been with them for nearly 10 years before he abruptly quit the day of the accident. He needed therapy and time off, but thought the best thing, the easiest thing, would be to quit and try to handle it alone. If you have people in your corner and you have resources available to you, please use them. Did you know that if someone unalives themselves in your house, you are responsible for the cleanup? If you are renting and don't have renter's insurance, it's on you. I'm 8 months pregnant, and I'm being induced next week, and I can't even go inside my house. I contacted the church we had been to on and off, where we got married, and ending yourself is a sin, so no help there. I think I was too hard on him in his last few weeks. I had let the stress build up and didn't tell him how bad things were until it was too late. He thought, oh, she can handle it like she always does. We have to stop thinking like that. And by we, I mean anyone who is reading this, because I'm sure you do it too. I brought up adoption because who would choose to bring a child into this world being poor? That is what a lot of comments told me, And they were right. I'm being induced next week, and I don't even have a clean environment to bring a baby back to. And it's the last piece of my husband, and I don't know if I deserve to raise him. I know I might have seemed like an a-hole about my husband. I was/am just stressed. But he was a good man who deserved to be a father, and he deserved to be here. He just didn't see that, and I think I'll have a broken heart for the rest of my life. If anyone is in my area who wants to sit on the curb and drink lukewarm bottled water with a stranger, my DMs are open. If you are struggling, please get help. You are not weak or less than. Mental health is so important and serious. Please. And we get our last update 2 weeks later with some hopefully more positive news. The title says 8 pounds, 5 ounces, and 19.5 inches. This is an update to those of you who asked on my last post. Got removed NSFW, so I hope it's okay that I do so. I had my baby boy this past weekend. 8 pounds, 5 ounces, and 19.5 inches. I wanted to share the news because when I texted his family the day he arrived, I was told they wanted to know nothing about him and didn't want to see any pictures. Heart-crushing is an understatement. Trying to sign up for survivor benefits in WIC while also filling out life insurance paperwork is surreal. I just hope it's approved ASAP. I'm keeping my baby no matter how hard it'll be. I never thought I'd be sending my husband to heaven and welcoming his boy within a week of each other. I want to believe they somehow crossed paths up there, because the thought of him not meeting or never knowing his precious son is unfathomable. And before I end today's video, I just wanted to give my own input regarding mental health, especially considering the last story. Obviously, as you guys could see, I spend a lot of time reading these very unfortunate stories, and I even remember a couple videos back, just a couple of comments telling me to make sure to take care of my mental health, because situations like these, where I'm taking in so much negative information from having to research all these stories for you guys, could be terrible for your mental health. And, when I read comments like that, I really did take it to heart. And I know this channel, in a way, is a negative one. I mean, it's meant to show bad situations that happen across Reddit, etc. But for me, I always try to remember that there's so much more happening in life that's positive than what I indulge in when researching for these posts. And I hope you all keep that in mind too, especially when you're binging all these crazy videos back to back. Just once in a while, make sure you step back and remember that there is so much good in this world, and you're not going to find it unless you look for it. I mean, if you're only indulging in negative stuff like this, of course that's all you're going to think of, Ironically, I make all these videos that should be affecting me in a bad way, honestly, but it does show me how blessed my life is. And I read all these terrible situations that happen to people, and I get constantly reminded of people who aren't as fortunate, and I just need to be grateful for what I have. I'm kind of just ranting here, but I hope you guys got a message to understand from that, hopefully. Besides that, I hope I see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.